When Danny Rohl took charge of Sheffield Wednesday, the Owls were rock bottom of the Championship after a 10-game winless start to their season. Since then, Danny Rohl has won 15 and drawn 6 of his opening 37 games, and now the Owls just need 1 point this weekend to ensure Championship survival. So Danny Rohl has done excellently to turn Sheffield Wednesday's season around, but I really don't think a club the size of Sheffield Wednesday should be battling relegation in the second tier. Therefore, we are jumping into FC24, taking charge of Sheffield Wednesday, and we are going to win them a UCL trophy. Remember, if you enjoy this type of content, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out. Let's get Sheffield Wednesday rebuilt. So this is the Sheffield Wednesday team we've loaded into in FC24, and given the fact the Owls have been in the relegation zone all season in the Championship, I don't actually think this team's that bad on paper. However, this formation is absolutely shocking and it's definitely getting changed. So after having a play about with the formation and the starting 11, this is the Sheffield Wednesday team we're going into season 1 with, and we have gone for a flat 4-2-3-1 formation as our chosen formation for this rebuild. Now admittedly, this team is definitely a low-end Championship level side, but I definitely think we've got enough firepower to keep us in the Championship this season. And as you know, we cannot make any additions to this squad until January the 1st, as we always disable the first summer transfer window. And when we do arrive in January, we'll have £7 million to improve the squad, which is actually a pretty decent budget. And when we do arrive in January, we'll definitely be making James Beadle's loan into a permanent move, as he's 18-year-old, 66 rated, and this guy's got excellent potential in FC24. And given the fact the team isn't that strong on paper, we are most definitely going with the counter-attacking tactical vision, as I really can't see this squad of players outplaying many teams in the Championship, so we're going to have to hit them on the break. But when we do get to January the 1st and we can finally bring some players in, we are definitely missing a central midfielder, as Will Vaulks is currently playing out of position as he's a CDM, and Barry Bannon, by the time we get to January, it might be about 68 rated, so we definitely need to bring in a really good high potential centre midfielder. So we've gone over the starting 11 and the formation, the finances and the tactical vision. There's nothing left to do but simulate forward to January the 1st, and the season 1 target is simple: just stay in the Championship. So if we're after January the 1st and we can finally bring some players through the door at Hillsborough, but before we get into incomings, we have had a lot of outgoings, boys, and we've got rid of a lot of the deadwood here at Sheffield Wednesday. We'll start off with some loans. We have sent Djedi Gassama out on loan to Cagliari for 1 season. Young goalkeeper Piers Charles has joined Stockport on loan. Guy Sequeira has joined Cheltenham Town on loan till the end of the season, and Bailey Cadamartere has joined Huesca on loan till the end of the season as well. Then we had an incoming, boys, and it's one you already know about. We brought James Beadle to the club on a permanent deal for £1.8 million. We would then go on to sell Malik Wilkes to Cardiff for £1.3 million, Callum Patterson to Hibernian for 650 grand. Dominic Iorfa would leave the club on a free contract to Hull City, and then we would make our second signing of the window, bringing in Cesar Casede from Chelsea on loan with a view of a permanent move in the summer for £2.8 million, and this could be a proper steal, lads. Cameron Dawson then left the club and joined West Brom on a free contract. We then sold Bambo Diaby to Silkeborg for £1.4 million, and then we brought in Sale Kumbedi from Lyon for £4 million. 73 rated, got showing great potential, really good signing. And then rounding off our transfer window, Liam Palmer, a club legend at Sheffield Wednesday, has left the club for Norwich City on a free contract. And after the signings of Beadle, Casede and Kumbedi, we are left with literally nil in our bank account, not a single penny. So that's January over and done with. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 1 and see how Sheffield Wednesday got on in the Championship. So we have arrived at the end of season 1, and I am absolutely delighted with our performance on the pitch this season, as we have finished 12th in the division on 59 points. We were absolutely miles away from the Championship relegation zone, which is exactly what we like to see, and we were only actually 11 points off 6th place Preston, so who knows, with the right additions in the summer, we could definitely press on and try and get into them playoffs next season. We had a pretty decent run in the FA Cup, getting to the 5th round, but Port Vale knocked us out. That was a real missed opportunity to get to the quarterfinals. I can't lie, I'm pretty gutted about this, you know. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season 1, and we only have 2 players in the starting 11 below 70 rated in James Beadle and Barry Bannon. Now Beadle will grow to 70 rated very shortly, but Bannon, on the other hand, at 34-year-old, he is really rapidly declining, and in all honesty, he will have to be replaced in season 2. We're also going to need to bring in a new striker and left back in season 2, as Pedersen and Ugbo's loans are expiring, and we are not going to be making them permanent signings, as they're just not good enough. Ugbo was a difficult choice, but at 25-year-old and 73 rated, I think we can get a better striker in. But I'm really glad to see players like Casede, Musaba and Bernard and Fameo all reach 70 rated this season. All our young players doing really well on the pitch, and once again, with the right signings in the summer, we can definitely go on a playoff charge. So our top scorer this season was Ike Ugbo, getting 24 goals and 5 assists, but we are not making his deal permanent. Anthony Musaba had a really good season as well, getting 13 goals and 3 assists, and Josh Windass did really well, getting 12 and 7, but after that, not many goals at all from the rest of the squad. So we do need to start spreading the goals out through the team a bit more in season 2. So that's season 1 in the bag, a very successful first season at Sheffield Wednesday. We need to now get into season 2 and bring some new players through the door to push us towards the playoffs. So we've arrived in season 2 and we've got a very healthy transfer budget of £40 £14 million. And our first order of business is to make Cesar Caceres' loan deal a permanent one from Chelsea, and we can do that for just £2.75 million. And Caceres is now a permanent resident here at Hillsborough, and that is an absolute steal of a pickup. And we are raiding yet another Big Six club, and this time it's for a left back, as we have loaned in Joshua Wilson Esbrand from Manchester City. He's 21-year-old, 70 rated, got really decent stats. He joins us on a 2-year loan, and at the end of his loan we can sign him for £3.7 million, which I think is an excellent deal. So in this transfer window, one of the primary positions we have to improve is the striker position, as we did not sign Ike Ugbo, and we have identified an absolute superstar from the Premier League in Yohan Bonnet of Manchester United. He's 20-year-old, 70 rated, decent stats, showing great potential, and we can sign him for anywhere between £3.3 and £4.1 million. He's very affordable, and we are definitely bringing him to Sheffield Wednesday. And we have brought Yohan Bonnet to the club for just £3.3 million. Now that leaves us with £7 million in the bank, and we desperately need a replacement for Barry Bannon, who's retired. And the man we have identified to bring to Hillsborough to replace Barry Bannon, hey, big shoes to fill, is Charlie Patino of Arsenal. He's 72 rated, 20-year-old, got really well-rounded stats, and we can bring him to Hillsborough for anywhere between £3.9 and £4.85 million, meaning he's very affordable, and I think he's the perfect man to replace Barry Bannon. And we make yet another excellent signing as Patino joins us for £4.4 million, and that leaves us with just £2 million in the bank, which we're going to save for hiring new coaches, renewing contracts, and bringing in youth academy players. So our transfer window is officially done in terms of incomings, meaning this will be the Sheffield Wednesday team to take us into season 2, and it's looking much more well-rounded on paper. We've brought the average age of the squad down massively, which is something I really wanted to do, and our transfer strategy of raiding young high potential players from the Big Six has definitely paid off, as I really do expect players like Patino, Caceres, and maybe even Wilson Esbrand to reach 75 rated this season. I'm hoping Bonnie can also follow in their footsteps and reach 75 as well. So that's our transfer window finished, boys. No one else is coming in and no one else is leaving the club this summer. We're now simulating forward straight through to the end of season 2, and I'm hoping to see Sheffield Wednesday a lot closer to them playoff places. So we're right at the end of season 2, boys, and I really don't know whether to laugh or cry, as we have finished 3rd in the championship on 88 points, and we have been beaten to automatic promotion by our arch rivals Sheffield United by just 1 point. And had we finished level on points, our goal difference was far superior, meaning we would have gone up. Can you just imagine the bragging rights Sheffield United now have over Sheffield Wednesday, beating them to promotion by just a point? Oh, you just don't know whether you're going to laugh or cry, dear boys, but it isn't the end of the world, as we are actually in the playoffs. We're going to be taking on Southampton. We finished 15 points better off than them, and looking at our performance over the season, we are definitely the favourites heading into the playoffs. Oh my god, are you joking me? You are joking me. It is such a cruel sport, football. We have been knocked out in the playoff semi-final by Southampton on penalties. So we've lost out on automatic promotion to our arch rivals Sheffield United, and we have been beaten in the playoff semi-finals by Southampton. I am absolutely gutted, boys, and this has just motivated me more to go all out and win the league in season 3. In the FA Cup, we once again got to the 5th round, but Aston Villa beat us 3-1, preventing us from getting to the quarters once again. But this is how the team is looking at the end of season 2, and it's looking very strong on paper. We've had really good growth this season from players like Patino, Caceres, Bonnie, Wilson Esbrand, Bernard and Kumbede. This squad is looking really strong, and with the right additions I do think we can press on and win the championship next season. However, we do have some weak points in this team, and the main one is Firmino at centre back, 72 rated. He is not good enough to get the team promoted, and also Josh Windass is now 31-year-old, he's 73 rated. He's also going to need replacing as well. And what a season Yohan Bonnie had, 27 goals and 5 assists in 48 games. That is absolutely outstanding. The Jedi Gassama had a brilliant season as well. He grew by 5 overall to 74 rated, got 22 goals and 4 assists. That's a brilliant return. So getting into season 3, our only goal is to get promoted to the Premier League. So we've arrived in season 3 and we've got £21 million to bring in a centre back and a centre attacking midfielder. So we're kicking off our season 3 transfer window with 4 outgoings, boys. Paul Valentin has joined Cardiff City for 810 grand. The man we're looking to replace, Akem Famewu, has joined Royal Union St Gilloise for 1.9 million. We got an offer we just could not refuse for Josh Windass in 4.35 million, and he has gone back to his former club Rangers. And we have also sent young goalkeeper Piers Charles on loan to Italy. He's gone to Spezia, and we have now got a very healthy £27 million in the bank. So kicking off our transfer window, we are in the market for a centre attacking midfielder to replace Josh Windass, and we have identified Ayanda Shishuba of PSV. He's 20-year-old, 71 rated, admittedly not as good as Windass right now, but I guarantee by the end of the season he definitely will be. He's got really decent stats for such a young player, and he's very affordable, as the max repayment paying for him is 4.8 million, so we are definitely bringing him to Hillsborough. And Ayanda Shishuba is a Wednesdayite for £4 million. And this leaves us a massive 23 million to bring in a centre-back. And I am so desperate to get promoted this season with Sheffield Wednesday that we are going to seriously splash the cash on our centre-back. And we have identified one of the highest potential centre-backs in the game. Jarell Hatter of Bayer Leverkusen is 77 rated, 19-year-old. Them stats are insane, but he is going to be very expensive, coming in between 18.3 and 22.9 million pounds. So we might not actually have enough money to get this deal over the line. We are very much going to try to bring him to Hillsborough. And I genuinely cannot believe we have got this deal over the line. We have brought Hatter to Wednesday for just 18 million pounds, and we've got an A-rated deal. And we are now left with just 3 million pounds in the bank, which we'll use for contracts, coaches and youth academy players. So if we're at the end of the transfer window, boys, no further incomings or outgoings. And this is how the Sheffield Wednesday team is looking going into season 3. And although it's very, very tired, this team absolutely has to be getting promoted this season. We have literally got no excuses now. This is a Premier League standard team, and anything other than promotion, I don't mind if it's the playoffs, second place in the league title, we have just absolutely got to get promoted this season. So let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3 and see if we did manage to do that. So we've arrived at the end of season 3, and wow, we took missing out on promotion last season very personally, as we have won the Sky Bet Championship on 106 points and we scored 103 goals on the way. We absolutely blew the rest of the division out of the way, winning a whopping 32 of our 46 games, losing just 4 times all season. And I actually think this could be a championship record in terms of points. So 100 points, 100 goals, we should definitely be staying up in the Premier League next season. And we had an absolutely brilliant season in the FA Cup as well, as we got to the quarter-finals where unfortunately Spurs knocked us out. But look at this, in the 5th round, we absolutely battered our local rivals Sheffield United 3-0, getting our revenge for last season. But this is how the Sheffield Wednesday team is looking at the end of season 3, and we're looking so much stronger on paper. We now have 5 players at the club over 80 rated in James Beadle, Kumbedi, Hatter, Wilson Esbrand, Patino and Bonner. That's actually 6, not 5. Definitely got a very strong squad heading into the Premier League, but the weak points of the team are glaringly obvious. We are going to give Shishuba another season to grow, as he's grown by 5 overalls this season and he's got very high potential. We are definitely going to be bringing in a replacement for Musaba at right midfield, as he just hasn't been doing too much recently. We're going to make Wilson Esbrand's loan deal a permanent one for just £3 million, which is an absolute steal, by the way. So in terms of stats, our best player this season was Juan Bonner, getting 37 goals and 6 assists. He destroyed the championship this season. Musaba and Gassama had brilliant seasons as well, getting 24 goals each and 10 assists for Musaba and 12 for Gassama. We are now getting into season 4, our first in the Premier League, and the goal is just keep Sheffield Wednesday comfortably in the Premier League and bring some more really talented players through the door. So we are now into season 4, and our transfer budget is absolutely eye-watering. We've got £79 million to improve this squad, and we are going to have some fun with this money. The first order of business in this transfer window is to make Joshua Wilson Esbrand's loan a permanent one. His market value is 21.5 million. We are going to pay just 3.75 million. Absolute bargain. And Wilson Esbrand is now a permanent resident here at Hillsborough. So as we know, we are looking to replace Anthony Musaba in the starting 11 this season. We did actually offer Musaba a new contract with a rotation squad role, but he rejected it. He wants to be the first name on the team sheet somewhere else. So we accepted a bid of 15.5 million from Crystal Palace, and he has left the club. He's been an excellent servant, played a massive part in getting us to the Premier League. It goes with our best regards, but now it's time to bring in a really exciting replacement for him. And we have identified the current joint top scorer in the Premier League in real life, Cole Palmer of Chelsea. He's 24-year-old, 85 rated. Them stats are a joke. However, we might struggle to get the deal done, as Chelsea are expecting anywhere between 72.8 and 91 million pounds. It'll probably use up our entire budget, but we are desperate to bring Palmer to Hillsborough. And boys, what a signing we have just made. Cole Palmer is joining Sheffield Wednesday for 81 million pounds, and that leaves us with 3 million pounds in the bank. So do you know what, lads? We're probably not bringing in anyone else in this window, but I think it's definitely worth it. And after renewing a handful of contracts, we have literally got 655 grand in the bank, so our transfer window is definitely finished after the signing of Cole Palmer. And there's been one final sale of the summer transfer window. George Byers has left the club for Bristol City for 1.1 million. Another real fan favourite here at Sheffield Wednesday, but it's ultimately just not good enough for the Premier League, so we have moved him on back to the Championship. So Palmer and Wilson Esbrand will be the only incomings of this transfer window, meaning this will be the team that takes us into our first season in the Premier League. We've got a lot of very good players here at this football club. I really think we will be nowhere near the relegation zone. I really hope so anyway. And I can't see any reason why all these players won't be over 80 rated at the end of season 4. So with that being said, let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 4 and see how Sheffield Wednesday got on in their first season back in the Premier League. So we've arrived at the end of season 4 and just have a little guess to yourself, how do you think we've done in the Premier League this season? I'll give you a few seconds. We've actually finished 3rd in the Premier League, boys, on 69 points, and in Season 5, we are actually playing Champions League football with Sheffield Wednesday. We had an amazing season, winning 20 of our 38 games. We was the second highest scoring team in the league with 79 goals scored, only beat by league-winning Liverpool, and that should mean we get a very tasty budget in Season 5. In the FA Cup, it was heartbreak in the semi-finals as Tottenham knocked us out, but we are edging closer to our first FA Cup trophy of the rebuild. So this is the team that has got us Champions League football, and it is literally filled with world-class players. Beadle, Hato, Kumbede, Tino and Parma, all world-class. With some really talented players like Wilson, Esbrand, Kasede and Bonnie in there as well, also Gassama. But we do need to start improving on some of these low 80 rated players, and especially Shishuba. He's 79 rated, he's definitely not good enough to play in the Champions League, so we're going to be going all out for a new centre attacking midfielder, which could use up all of our budget depending on who we go for bring in. And if we have any leftover money, I'm thinking I'm going to replace either Gassama or Kasade, depending on how much money we have left. They're both not going very quickly, but nothing's set in stone. The one thing that is set in stone is we need a new centre attacking midfielder. So once again, we did not struggle for goals this season, and that's proven in the stats. Bonnie was our best player again, getting 27 goals and 4 assists. Closely followed by our £81 million man Cole Palmer, who got 24 goals and 8 assists. That is exactly why we brought him to Hillsborough. So that's an extremely impressive season 4 in the bag. We're now getting into season 5, and let's get some money spent and get Sheffield Wednesday third for the Champions League. So we've arrived in season 5, and our performance in season 4 has rewarded us with a massive budget of 142 million. And by the end of this transfer window, Sheffield Wednesday are going to be ready for whatever the Champions League can throw at us. So as we know, we are in the market for a central attacking midfielder in this window, and we have identified Pablo Torre of FC Barcelona. He's 24 years old, 84 rated, insanely well-rounded attacking stats, can play in multiple positions, 4-star, 4-star, and do you know what? He is very, very affordable because his contract's expiring in 11 months' time, and we will only have to pay a maximum of £47.5 million, but I think we can pay much less than this. So we are definitely bringing him to Hillsborough, and that way we still have some funds remaining to bring some other players to the club. So Pablo Torre is in, lads, and we've only paid £44 million for his services. So after the signing of Torre, we're left with £82 million in the bank. And if you remember, we did say we want to replace one of either Kasede or Gassama. I have decided I'm going to replace Gassama, boys. Kasede hasn't yet reached his match potential, whereas Gassama has. So we are currently in the market for a left midfielder, and with 82 million, we can bring in a genuine superstar like Cole Palmer. So we have identified a left midfielder, and it's another player whose contract is expiring in 11 months' time. And that man is Valentin Barco of Brighton and Hove Albion. He's 22 years old, 83 rated, got very, very well-rounded stats. And because his contract is expiring at the end of the season, we can get him for as low as 33.1 million. So some very smart business being done in this window. Let's get Barco to Hillsborough. And we have completed the signing of Valentin Barco for an absolute steal price of 36.5 million. For the signings of Barco and Torre, we're left with 41 million in the bank. And if we're being realistic, 41 million pounds isn't going to bring a first team quality player into this starting 11. We could maybe replace Deshaun Bernard, but we'll see how he grows this season. And if he doesn't grow by much, we can always replace him next season. I do think going into season 5, this team is excellent and should really have a good go in the Champions League. We're very well rounded, not many weaknesses, and I'm actually really proud of this team we've made at Sheffield Wednesday. So we've arrived at the end of the transfer window. There's been no further incomings. There has been some outgoings. We've sent some youth players out on loan, and our Champions League group is in, and wow, EAFC gods are really not smiling down on us. We have got Bayern Munich, Sporting Lisbon and Galatasaray. That could be one of the hardest groups we've ever had in FC24. 3 unbelievably daunting away trips, but them 3 teams won't want to come to Hillsborough either. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 5. Hopefully we've had a really good go in the Champions League, and we've once again got into the top 4 in the Premier League. So we've arrived at the end of season 5, and once again we have finished 3rd in the Premier League on 70 points, but this time we was actually the highest scoring team in the Premier League, 8 points off eventual winners Manchester City, and we are guaranteed Champions League football in season 6. And we have won our first major honour of the rebuild, winning the FA Cup. We smashed at Newcastle United 3-0 in the final, and the FA Cup is officially ours. And in the Champions League we did make the quarterfinals, but unfortunately unfortunately, we were beaten 3-2 over 2 legs by Ajax. But for our first ever season in the competition, that is a really, really good showing. And with the right additions, maybe we can push on to the semi-finals or even further next season. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season 5, and we have now got 4 89 rated players in the team in Hato, Patino, Parma and Kumbedi. Got grew all the way up to 87 rated. Our goalkeeper's now 85 rated. The squad actually looks really, really strong on paper. There's only 2 weak links in the entire starting 11, and they're not even weak by any stretch of the imagination, and that's Casedi and Bernard. Now going into season 6, obviously we're going to want to replace these two if we have a massive budget, which I'm very sure we will. Then I think we'll be more than equipped to win the Champions League, win the Premier League, just start dominating world football. In terms of stats, Pablo Torre was actually our best player, getting 31 goals and 11 assists. That's an absolutely brilliant first season in England for him. Bonnie had yet another great season, getting 28 goals and 9 assists, and Cole Palmer was absolutely excellent, growing to 89 rated and getting 22 goals and 10 assists. So really, really solid on the pitch. Let's now get into season 6, get some players through the door and try to get closer to a Champions League final. So we are now into season 6, and we have got a whopping £217 million to improve our team. So that means we can definitely bring in a central midfielder and a centre back in this window. So as we know, we are in the market for a central midfielder and a centre back, and these next 2 players we've identified will really take our team to the next level. The first being Vitina of Chelsea. He's 28-year-old, 87 rated. Them stats are an absolute joke, but we are going to have to fork out a hefty amount of our budget, anywhere between 82 and 102.5 million. But this man is just too good to not bring to Hillsborough. And £85 million later, Vitinha is a Sheffield Wednesday player. Now all that's left to do is bring in a centre back, and we have identified Sven Botman of Newcastle United, 87 rated, 28-year-olds, loads of play styles, unbelievable stats, and once again an expensive deal, anywhere between 69.9 and 87.4 million. But this man, once again, too good to not bring to Hillsborough. And for £70 million, Sven Botman is swapping black and white for blue and white. After adding Botman and Vitinha to the starting 11, that team is looking absolutely frightening on paper. Genuinely think this squad will be the strongest in the Premier League and one of the strongest in Europe this season. And by adding Botman and Vitinha to the squad, we've added some real experience to a pretty young squad, which should help us in the Champions League. And after the signings of Vitinha and Botman, we're left with £47 million, but our transfer window is finished. And we kick off our season with silverware, as we have beat Man City on penalties to win the Community Shield. So before we check our Champions League group, lads, we have had some really bad news. James Beadle will be out for up to 2 months with a torn hip flexor, meaning we have had to jump into the transfer market and bring in a new goalkeeper. And we have brought in Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa for £13 million to cover him just for 1 season. And our Champions League group is in, and it's not as bad as last season's, as we've got Bayern Munich, AS Monaco and Panathinaikos. We should definitely be getting through this group. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 6 and see how Sheffield Wednesday got on the pitch. We've reached the end of season 6 and we have finally secured the Premier League title, winning the league, finishing 6 points clear of second place Man United, 84 points, 26 wins. A very, very impressive season for Sheffield Wednesday indeed, and we made it back-to-back FA Cups, beating Leeds United in the final, a massive rivalry, and we have beat them at Wembley to win our second FA Cup of the rebuild. And you know what they say, good news always comes in threes. We have reached the Champions League final, where we will take on Real Madrid. We finished top of our group, winning 6 out of 6 and only conceding 3 goals along the way. We then beat Bayern Munich 7-3 over 2 legs. We battered Porto 4-1 in the second leg and went on to win 9-3. That is an absolute demolition job. And then once again we battered Liverpool 5-2. We have genuinely built a super team here at Sheffield Wednesday. We're dispatching really good teams with relative ease. Set up a final with Real Madrid. Now this is the Sheffield Wednesday team that could potentially do a treble, and it's looking insane on paper. We have 5 players in the starting 11 over 90 rated in Parma, Kumbedi, Hato, Patino and Barco, with Botman, Vitinha, Torre and Bonnet all 88 rated as well. This squad actually could be one of the best squads we've ever built in an FC24 rebuild. Now in terms of stats, Bonnet was insane this season, getting 40 goals and 6 assists, and Cole Palmer from the right wing grew by 3 overalls to 92 rated and got 30 goals and 9 assists. That's insane. Torre once again, amazing season, 23 goals, 22 assists. Vitinha 17 and 8, Barco 17 and 10. We absolutely smashed it this season. And this rebuild does feel a little bit like the Birmingham City rebuild we did last week. Built an amazing squad, then won the treble in the final season, and we're actually playing in the same stadium, the Civitas Metropolitano. It feels like a mirror image of the Birmingham City rebuild, and let's make sure it stays that way by beating Real Madrid in the final. So here we go, boys. Champions League final time, playing in our home colours, and we have got the small issue of beating Real Madrid in the final. Oh, Rodrigo's in. Oh, we made a mistake here. Rodrigo's in. Come on, Beadle. Nope. What a save by James Beadle. That could have been a major start for Real Madrid. 4 minutes on the clock, and Rodrigo misses a huge chance. It's a good save by Beadle. It's whipped in. Oh, free header. Good save again by Beadle. It should really be 1-0 to Real Madrid. Barcourt. It's a chance, this. Whip it in. Palmer. What's this? Oh my God, how are we not winning? How has that not gone in the net? Oh my God. Bonnet. Torre, it's got to be. Oh, it's got to be. It's 1-0 to Sheffield Wednesday. Pablo Torre with the goal. And that is so well. Lovely one-touch play by Bonnie. Sets himself onto his weaker foot and lays off Torre, who pushes it past the goalkeeper. Wonderful finish, lads. And after a really nervous start, we find ourselves 1-0 up against Real Madrid. Or not. Oh, shit it straight at Beadle. That should... Real Madrid have missed 3 massive chances in this game. Could probably find ourselves lucky to be in front. Into Vinicius Jr. Has a dig from distance, and it's another good save by Beadle. Come on, ref, blow the whistle. It's got to be half-time, and it is half-time. We're somehow winning this game 1-0. Real Madrid have had so many chances, but all that matters is the scoreline, and we are 1-0 up at half-time. Barcourt. Oh, he's quicker than Zaire Emiri. Yeah, he is. Go on, Barcourt. Come on. We need something. There's no one forward, though. Bonnie. Oh, he's behind him. Come bed it. Whipped in. Torre. Yeah, he's getting there. Pablo Torre at the double. And it's 2-0 to Sheffield Wednesday. It's Pablo Torre with the brace. And that all comes from the lightning pace of Barcourt on that left side. A brilliant ball by Cumbedi as well. And we're 2-0 up. Somehow, we're 2-0 up. Real Madrid should have had 5 or 6 in this game. We've had 2 major chances and took them both. Out to James. Having a dig, and it's another good save by Beadle. Maybe the pass with a better option there. That is yet another save by James Beadle, who's been insane in this final. And oh, it's not going. They've missed. Oh my God, what a miss. What a miss. I think it was Militao who missed. The ball was literally flicked across the goal, and he's somehow missed. Come on, lads, get it out. Oh, and it's another save. Oh, that must be 10 saves for James Beadle now. By that space, but that's what. Oh, it's a terrible corner. And Barcourt can get it away. And he has got serious pace, lads. Serious pace. They can't catch him. There's a sweat on here. Oh, we're going to have to go it alone. Barcourt makes it free on the counter. And somehow... Oh my God. We're somehow winning this final 3-0. Somehow. After all the chances Real Madrid have had, do we even deserve to be winning this game? But Barcourt makes it free to Sheffield Wednesday with a brilliant finish, and that's surely game over. We've been absolutely battered in this game, and we're somehow 3-0 up. Oh dear. And James Beadle again. Oh my God, this man. This man, James Beadle, could be the best goalkeeper I've ever used in FC24. Stay with him. Guilar. And Beadle again, he refuses to be beaten. He has made yet another save. He just can't be beaten. Oh, what? They just cannot score. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I cannot believe what I've just seen. What a clearance. But it doesn't matter, boys. We have actually won the Champions League. We've beat Real Madrid 3-0. Wow, that was crazy. Beadle with probably the best performance of FC24 so far. We owe this trophy to him, and it will be Charlie Patino, a man who joined us in season 2 to lift the trophy for Sheffield Wednesday. And the European Cup, the Champions League, is coming to Yorkshire, the blue side, and Sheffield Wednesday are the champions of Europe, and that is another rebuild successfully boxed off. I just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video, boys. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out. We're getting very, very close to 3,000 subscribers, and I will see you next week for another rebuild.